Hello, and welcome to the Food Photography Show this week. This week, I'm talking about how you actually become a food photographer. There's so many people out there that are talented, taking really lovely food images, but don't really know how to take it to the next step to actually get paid work for what they're doing, for their talent. So, today, I'm going to run you through a few things that will help you see if you can take that next step to become a food photographer. I've got some handy little slides for you because then you don't have to look at my face the whole time. So let's have a look. Let's get going. Move me out the way. Okay, so the food photography that we need to be looking at is a really practical guide to get you started on where you need to go. If this is your dream, these are some steps that will help you get there. And the biggest thing that I really want to get across to you today is that you don't need to be a chef. You don't need to be a food stylist. You don't need to have any formal training of food to be able to become a food photographer. You also don't need a massive studio. People are going to pay for you to go to their restaurant, their cafe, their bar, their hotel. You're not actually needing a studio unless you're looking to do more product imagery, or if you are getting people to deliver their products to you. And knowing what your life is like, that is something that you can decide yourself. You also don't need all the gear. There is very little gear that you need to get started to earn a living from your food photography. And we're talking gear next week, so let's skip on from that. So, my rubbish beginning, I was a portrait photographer for 15 years. I was working every weekend. My kids were growing up, and I wasn't there at the weekends because I was in my studio with other people's kids, resenting my own business that I had built. How bad is that? So, in lockdown, I pivoted to food. Now, all of my clients were from schools, from parents, from local groups. I'd built up over 15 years a massive network of people that had absolutely no value to me now to become a food photographer. So if you think, well, she's been doing this for years, she's just fine, she's got it all sorted. No, I didn't. And I had to swap lanes and think about targeting business to business rather than business to customer. And I'm going to share that with you today. So, even professionals have rubbish photos. My first photos in food photography were absolutely rubbish. And I was already a professional photographer, and I thought, how hard can it be for me just to swap lanes, go from people, go to food? It was a lot harder than I thought. Now it's completely normal and feels perfectly right. At the time, it was difficult. So don't give up. So, step one, you need to build a starter portfolio just from your home. Just find some nice light in your home and do some simple setups. Photograph your dinner. Set aside a morning a week. Or for me, I used to photograph every Saturday morning. I allowed myself 4 hours to go and photograph where I could if we weren't out, but that fitted in with my life. So find the time that works for you and build a portfolio. Think about sweet and savory. Think about drinks, hot and cold. Think about alcohol, non-alcoholic drinks. Think about breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. And it will start to give you an idea of the things that you want to photograph and the things that you gravitate towards. And the more you start popping those into a starter portfolio, your style will start to take off and you'll see where this is going to take you. It'll also show you gaps in your portfolio so that then you are able to go in and say, hey, this is the next thing I'm going to photograph. The second thing, enter competitions. If you enter competitions, people see you, you get talked about, your name gets shared on a platform with loads more people than you know, and you never know who's watching. It could be a famous chef, it could be Marks and Spencer's, it could be someone that you would love to work with that you get on their radar. But more importantly for you, competitions gives you feedback. It gives you an idea of what you're doing. It can be a photography association that actually shows you on a live how to fix your images, the things that are wrong. It might be that you get shortlisted, and then you know that that image is better. It might be that you win a competition, and that's where it starts to work with you. But all of this will help with getting your name out there, making sure that people see that you're credible and that you're doing well. And clients always love an award winner. When I came second in the Pink Lady Food Photography Awards, which is now the World Food Photography Awards, it put me on the map in so many ways that I didn't know. I was featured in so many magazines across the world that suddenly my following grew quicker than it would have grown if I hadn't entered and put myself out there. So please do enter competitions for the feedback, the credibility, and the exposure. Start with what you've got. You don't need anything fancy. Natural light is free and it can do just the same job for you as artificial light. You just need to find a really lovely window, and if it's too bright, you can put a bit of voile over the window to soften it, and if it's too soft, you can bounce some light back in, even with some foil. So that's a voile and some foil. But there's really cheap ways to do this. You do not have to spend a fortune doing this, and build it up with natural light. If you love it, invest further down the line. Artificial light is great when you're working with a client and you need to keep the lighting consistent. But if you haven't got that at the moment, buy your artificial lights when a client pays you. Get a mentor. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm a food photography mentor. I'm saying that because someone needs to tell you what your photos are looking like. And I'm not talking about a partner or your mum or a family member or your best friend, because they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to say everything looks brilliant and they love your food and they love your photography, or they're going to pick at something in an image that isn't actually a technical thing that you need to overcome. And then you look at it, then it gets your back up, or you start concentrating on completely the wrong things. Now, if you don't have someone giving you feedback on your photography, you are just going to keep shooting and you're going to keep making all the same mistakes that you make at the beginning as you do a year, 2 years down the line. Your work is never going to improve if someone isn't critiquing your photos well. It needs to be an honest critique, but it needs to not break you and make you give up. So you need to find the person that you trust. It might be me. It might be someone else you know. It might be someone from a photography association. You might know a photographer that's into food. Find the person that knows about food and drink photography and listen to what they're telling you to do, because they're going to help you make an image that's commercial and is viable for you to make money from. My mentor, Roy, was really hard on me. He critiqued my photos every single month, and some months I got a telling off. And as the time went on, I got less telling off and more praise. So do get a mentor. It helps your business greatly when you're starting out, and even right through for someone to give you feedback is what you need. Find your signature style. Don't start copying everyone on Instagram because that's what they're doing. If you carve out something that is your style, that works for you, people will start to see what you're doing time and time and time again, and they'll start to associate that kind of photography with you. If you're copying someone else, you're always behind. You're always the one copying and having to catch up. If it's your own style, it is a fantastic moment when people start to copy you. Finding your clients. You know, you're getting good at what you do. Everything's coming together. Your mentor's happy with you. You're winning awards. So now you're thinking, come on, pay me for what I'm doing. So who pays you? We look at the obvious things like restaurants that need their menus done, and we've got seasonal food. So there could be 4 menu refreshes in a year. We've got brands and producers that might want to send things to you and you sell their products online. It might be a publication, an editorial that wants you to do something to go in a magazine with them. Or it could be a food blogger that's writing a recipe and you put everything into that. It could be a cafe down the road that needs to showcase its food. It could be a farmer's market where people are paying quite a bit for sauces and jams at a farmer's market, but they're not getting themselves known online and they need you to help. It could be hotels, it could be pubs, it could be bars. Anything to do with food and drink and packaging are people that you want to be looking at. And a great way to look at what is in your area is to go to AI, go to Claude, go to ChatGPT and say, this is where I live. I want to travel for an hour. Tell me all the food, photography and drinks places within an hour of me. Give me their websites. And you've got a whole long list of people to work with you in your area. And if you're in the middle of nowhere and it comes back with 0, you've got your answer. You're then going to be getting people to send their products to you. And that's how you can work by working online. So who actually pays for you is a great place to start, because it makes it demographically correct for you of who it is that is around where you live. Someone else could be saying they're getting loads of work. Someone else could be saying they're getting no work, but you've got to look at your area and see how that works for you. So let's channel this into the business mindset. We need to think about how you price yourself and how you pitch for these jobs. And a lot of the time people will go, well, of course, we just do a competitor analysis and we look at what all our competition are doing out there and we stick ourselves somewhere in the middle, or we undercut them all and we make it really, really cheap. Now, everyone has different survival income. You need to ensure that you are going to make a profit. It doesn't matter what Joe Blogs down the road is doing. If you are not making a profit, this is not going to work for you. So you need to list out all your survival income of what you need to earn from a job. And then you need to look at the goal income of what it is that you would expect if you went into food photography, of what you could do. And don't forget to start with, you can always discount to start with. I've got 2 half price this month. I'm doing 2 slots on this day. If you want them, it's at this rate. You don't have to use your full price to start with, but every time you get a job, you can increase it by £100, £200, £300, till you get to the point where you've got a really sustainable business that also pays you what you're worth. You also have to have the confidence to ask and to do some really good money mindset work so that you believe you're worth it when you're talking to clients. The real mistakes that are keeping you stuck. You're waiting until you're perfect. Perfection paralysis is huge. You don't want to pitch because you feel like an imposter. So you're going to wait till you feel perfect. And then you don't feel perfect, so you don't pitch. And you're in this whole spiral of this isn't working. Your portfolio will never feel 100% finished, because it never is. Every year, every 6 months, you add to it. You look back at last year's photos, you go, I don't like them anymore. I'm going to change my portfolio. I'm going to add, I'm going to take away, I'm going to do something else. It doesn't matter. Everyone isn't seeing your food photography to the same standard that you're seeing them. So let the client decide. Pitch to them. If you get the job, great, fantastic. If you don't, doesn't matter. You've tried and you failed. What's the worst that's happened? You've got to know. No one's died. You've got to know. That's it. You move on and you go to the next pitch from there. But if you don't put yourself out there and you don't ask for a sale, well, then you're never ever going to get a sale. So we have to look at it in terms of, if I don't ask, I don't get. So don't wait until you're perfect. Don't hide your work because you're worried what other people are going to say. You need to show your work. You need to be showing it on social media platforms. You need to be talking to people. If you've got an email list, you need to be sending through things on email. Show it. Be proud of it so that people want to hire you. No one is going to hire you if they don't know who you are. Get a leaflet together, send it out to your local business, walk in, chat to your local business, take a photo of their products, and just keep showing everything that you do. Buying gear instead of marketing, and buying props instead of marketing. You go and buy more expensive gear. You go and buy your 47th cake stand. You go and buy some more cutlery, some knives and forks. You're focusing on the wrong thing of your business. You've got to grow your business. And the way I worked it when I went into food is, every time a client paid me for a job, I put a percentage of that money towards my next lens to something that I needed. But I didn't buy anything until someone paid me for my next job. And that's how I grew what I was doing. And very rightly said here, a £3,000 lens won't find you a client, but sending 10 targeted emails will. It is possible to do this, and some of my members are able to show you that. I've got members in my group that started with a paid, shooting on a phone in their kitchen to a paid restaurant shoot in 16 months. They had another job. They came into my Food Photography Academy to learn to do a cookbook of their family recipes, and they got a paid shoot within 16 months and now have continued to grow their food photography. This is proof that you don't need to be perfect to start. When you do food, you get your weekends back. You can shoot during the week, work with creative clients, and build a business you actually love. So do excuse me. You need to think about how much you want to become a food photographer, and is it worth putting yourself out there and showing up and picking up your camera or your phone and going for it to get a life that you love. So what's next? You can subscribe to this channel. Please do subscribe to this channel. You can join my newsletter for weekly tips. I have a blog on my website, emma@emmadunham.co.uk. And you can join me next week. Next week, we're talking about the only camera gear you will actually need, and it's not much, I can promise you. So please do head to my website if you want to know any more. Subscribe to this channel, and hopefully I will see you back again here in another week or so, which would be absolutely fantastic. Any questions you've got for me, pop them in the comments below and I can come back to you then. All right. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. And if this has helped you become a food photographer, please do let me know in the comments, or if you need me to expand on anything, that would also be great too. All right. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye.